What's up? That's me. Hey, I'm Matt. I'm a 3D artist and animator. Mainly work in music videos, short films. I do a lot of commercial work professionally. I'm gonna be, I wanted to show like a reel of personal work, but I don't really have a lot of time, so I just compressed it into a few seconds from like a couple minutes. So. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. So I'm going to talk through a few experiments I've been doing recently, trying to get my animations into game engines and interacting with them in real time because it's so satisfying. And the first experiment I'm going to talk through is my first ever game mod that I released earlier this year for a game called Lethal Company. It's called Flesh Suits. Shout out to the Lethal Company modding community because the documentation and artist tools out there are really great for getting your creations into the game. I'll show you a short trailer of what my characters look like in the game. So my main tool is Houdini, the 3D software, and I do a lot of mixing, keyframe and motion capture and different types of animation with simulated animation, so soft bodies and things like that, like goopy, jelly things. I don't have a lot of time to go into full breakdowns, but I wanted to show you little snippets of how I brought these from Houdini into game engines. So the first thing I did was what Houdini's best at inflate stuff. So I grabbed the Lethal Company character, inflated him, and then I wanted to mix some different types of inflation. So I was trying out some different materials, and then I was different types of amount of pressure and things like that. So and then I was using masks to blend them all together and make my own kind of unique characters together. And then just put them together and use the original rig from the character and put it back in the game. And I think that's one of the great things about Houdini is just the iteration process is really fast. So I knew that the game engine stuff was going to take me a long time to learn about, so I just kept the Houdini stuff, the stuff I knew, pretty straightforward. And the next experiment is this little guy. He's called Big PP. And I wanted to take some simulated animations that I had in my reel and that inflation that you just saw. So this is a melting one, and this is an inflating one, and be able to mix between that in real time, and then also add on layers of bone animation. And the way to do that was, there's no good way to get these arbitrary mesh animations into real-time software very easily. So there's a tool you can use to actually just designate points and then create this arbitrary rig. So these are all bones on the right, basically. So instead of your normal armature skeleton, you have all these crazy bones, hundreds of them. And then you can just basically translate any of your simulated animations into FBX animation clips, and then it's super performative in game, and you can blend between all of them really easily. And then the last experiment I'm going to so I also was experimenting with just adding real-time simulation to the character as well it's really satisfying when you are able to interact with him and then you have this other layer of secondary animation on top. I just find those kind of games so satisfying where things jiggle. That's just my favorite stuff. Yeah, so when I'm controlling him and then there's this back and forth of the simulation as you see here, it's just, it's so satisfying. I could just wiggle his head all day. So my last experiment is, I started this experiment with digital puppetry. So I have this old Leap Motion controller, and then I was mapping it to these characters, just straight mapping the bones from the Leap Motion onto my armature, and it worked pretty well, and I was really satisfied with being able to interact with the puppets in real time, and it's just this really satisfying process. Also, Houdini for the grooming process, which you'll see in a second, where I added fur because I saw this amazing artist. I saw this amazing artist online called Ryan Corneal, and he does these real-time Muppets similar to this. Yeah, it was just super inspiring. But this is just like a little snippet of like how quick I can go back and forth between, in this case, Unreal and Houdini to make like a completely new look for the puppet. Because like my setup's all here already, so if I want to change something, I just go in and like tweak these little sliders, and then I press save, and then I just re-import in Unreal, and it's just super quick and like satisfying to work that way, where you're not worried about like all the back and forth of the software. So that's basically it. I have one more little experiment, which is the one I'm currently working on, super work in progress, but basically taking those two previous experiments and putting them together. So I have these like little marionette real-time puppets, which I'm also puppeting around, and they also have like layers of simulation and things like that together with it, and then they're gonna do like a little kiss. But yeah, that's about it. So cheers.